It's time for a new state, the state of New California, which apparently, as far as I can tell, is basically the exact same as old California, but they carve out the Bay Area and Los Angeles. I'm not kidding. I'm trying to figure out what the boundaries are for this new state, but it just looks like on their website, they're basically saying it's a new state, but we're removing the cities from California. Okay, well, this is actually fairly serious. They've done a lot of groundwork, the New California movement. They've cited tons of precedent. They've gone to the law, and they are on their 10th convention to form a new state. From timcast.com, California group advocates splitting, creation of 51st state. The current state of California has become governed by a tyranny. California group named New California is advocating for secession from California as a 51st state, citing a tyrannical government. The group, which began efforts to split California as early as 2018, is an unincorporated association seeking to form a new state out of the existing state of California. New California seeks incorporation of rural areas for membership in the new state. The borders of New California will not include California's most densely populated regions like LA and SF. So again, basically what they're saying is we take the whole state of California, you remove the Bay Area and LA, and you got a new state. That state would be red. That's what's really funny about it. So let's pull up their website, actually. Welcome to the website for the state of New California. The New California State 10th Convention has begun today. There you go. 10th Constitutional Convention, January 12th to 14th, 2023. And looks like they got some speakers and some stuff going on. It sounds pretty interesting. It's $100 to attend. But let's read about a new state. What is this one? Here we go. It's actually fairly interesting, the argument they make. And then, well, actually, let me do this. I'll go to the home. And this is what I want to show you before we get into that stuff. I'm scrolling down, and then I saw this, and I was like, okay, it says the state of New California. New California counties with committees. Map does not represent final state borders. And I was confused because it's literally just California. But then down here, you have yellow. California, New California. You mean to tell me these yellow spots will be like 3 different states? Or what's the point? I don't understand. They're not connected. How will they be one state? Okay, sure, whatever. Maybe I'm getting something wrong. But let's read about this new state and the argument they make. Why a new state? The need for a new California. The U.S. Declaration of Independence of 1776, the Alta California Declaration of Independence of 1836, and the Sonoma Proclamation of 1846 declared the right of the people in the states of Alta California and California, respectively, to throw off the bonds of tyranny. Okay. I'm with you so far. Constitutional authority to act. The current state of California has become governed by a tyranny, which rivals those expressed in the above documents. Therefore, the United States Declaration of Independence of 1776, the Constitution as adapted in 1783 by the Congress of the United States of America, the Alta California Declaration of Independence of 1836, the Sonoma Proclamation of 1846, and the California State Constitution of 1848 mandate the right, the responsibility, the duty of the people who are suffering the long train of abuses and usurpations at the hands of a tyrannical government to abolish and make new a government by the people, for the people, under God. Article 4, Section 3 of the Constitution states, new states may be admitted by the Congress into this union, but no new states shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the junction of 2 or more states or parts of states without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned as well as of the Congress. Quote from the U.S. Declaration of Independence. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. The state splitting process. And they reference my home state. Well, my current home, West Virginia. West Virginia is best Virginia, by the way. The precedence was set in 1861 when West Virginia was split from the Confederate Virginia as Virginia tried to secede from the Union. The process begins when a state's legislature first votes to split the state. Once the measure in the form of a resolution passes both the state assembly and Senate, it is submitted to Congress. Both the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate must vote to pass the resolution in order to split the state. I'm going to pause right there and just go out on a limb and say I really don't think ever, in any way, California will be permitted by the state to break apart into two states. No state has been brought into the Union who could not demonstrate their ability to self-govern. New California will demonstrate a governance system as modeled by the U.S. Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and Bill of Rights. County commissioners will be established in all counties who would like to join the New California state movement. These county committees will serve as local governance centers and will be directly involved in the New California state movement activities. Yeah. Okay, we get it. What I couldn't figure out is like where they're going to be breaking apart. They say New California will be the sixth largest state behind New York, bigger than Illinois and Pennsylvania. It's estimated 25 to 27 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives will go to New California. Old California will become the second most populous state behind Texas and ahead of Florida, losing 25 to 27 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. The 5 southern New California counties have a population of just over 11 million. If they were to break away, they would be a state the size of Ohio, probably larger, as some other counties might join. I do not believe, I think you agree, that the federal government is going to abide by attempts to split California, nor would California's own government. But they do make some very interesting points. If the southern part of California were to break off and become its own state, it would be, what do they say, as big as Ohio? It would be a state the size of Ohio. Maybe it should be its own state. Maybe we need to break apart California into 3 states, whether California likes it or not. This is a state with I think it has the most congressional reps, the most electoral college votes. It's a massive state. Now, speaking in terms of physical size, Alaska, I think, is the biggest, followed by Texas and New York. Could be wrong. But those are among the biggest. But population density is what matters. How can California properly govern when it's basically the size of 3 states jammed into one? It can't. Now, the argument made often is that, well, people will leave California and they'll go other places, and they have been. Still, the state is massively populated and would probably better serve its people if it broke up. You've got the people who want to form Jefferson. You ever see Jefferson? There's like people who want to break Northern California off to form a state. There's the people who want to make Jefferson, which is parts of like Oregon, Idaho, and then Northern California. And then there's like counties that want to break apart. There's people in Eastern Oregon that want to leave Oregon because Portland dictates too much. I'll tell you where we're going. This is the 10th convention of California for the state of New California. Or I'm sorry, the 10th convention for New California. Civil War. I know. A lot of people are like, oh, here he goes, Tim Pool talking about Civil War again. But I mean, think about it. We're at a point where the cities and the rural areas are so divided in their worldviews. And people are flocking to them. Like people are leaving California and going to places like Texas and Florida, living in very different places. The split is right in front of our eyes. If you live I live in West Virginia. You go to D.C. an hour away, and it's completely different. A better way to put it is, if you're in Maryland and you're in Western Maryland, you're in MAGA country, baby. The people in Western Maryland are trying to secede from the state to join West Virginia. But meanwhile, you go to Frederick, and it's woke as woke gets. These people are not happy living with each other. Maybe we should be like, okay, a government for woke people doesn't work for a government for non-woke people. So if we're going to preserve this here union, we need to give people their space. The other solution, I suppose, exodus. People could just leave in large numbers and go other places, I guess. Maybe if you live in California, the solution is to go move to Texas. Maybe the solution is to just get out of the state. Instead, what I think we're seeing with places like Arizona and Colorado is that Democrats from California are moving to these places and voting blue. There's this famous post where a guy was like, I think California is being run miserably, so I'm going to go move to Florida where it's done better. And then people were like, if Florida is being run by Republicans, don't worry, I'll vote Democrat. And they're like, why? Why flee Democrats? Go to a Republican state and vote Democrat again. Okay. Maybe the solution is to get people who believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to go to West Virginia, New Hampshire, Florida, Texas, etc. And then all the rest can just stay in old California and be surrounded by homeless people and feces in the street. If that's what they want, so be it. Hey, but shout out to New California. I respect it. A lot of work went into this website. I'm actually pretty impressed. So they've got a legal fund. I think it's kind of fruitless. And what does kind of bum me out is there's an opportunity with this level of organizational power to do things that are probably more effective than trying to take every portion of California except major cities. And maybe I'm wrong about that part. I don't know what their plan is. But hey, man, good luck. I think we could use a change. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a couple minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.